Oh, I'm tricked. They tricked me. There's another turn off here. Way further than I thought. This is crazy. I'm pretty ready to stop. I'm pretty done. There it is. There it is. We're about to run a 10K, which is the longest race I have ever done by far. I'm a little overwhelmed by how many people are here. Okay. Running is one of the most popular cardio workouts on the planet, but we all know how long it takes to get good at it. That's why we're making this video about how we train for this race, but here's the thing. We did not hire any expensive coaches or buy any expensive programs. We didn't even give ourselves time to train that the experts say you should. Hey Siri, how long should you take to train for a 10K?
See, recently we made a video about how to run a faster 5K with just 2 weeks of training, and this got us thinking, what else have we been putting off that seems really impossible? We have a theory on this channel that people can accomplish much greater things than they thought possible. There are lots of reasons why people find achieving their goals inaccessible. Lack of confidence, lack of drive, even information overload can cause you to not start in the first place. All right. But we want to be the example that you don't need Marine Corps willpower or even hyper-optimal training plan to get started. But we believe that for most people, you just need a goal outside of your comfort zone, a schedule to keep you honest, and a plan that works for you.
Thanks to everyone's participation this morning. Don't forget that you can register.
Wait. First, we need to talk about how we even got here because we went all in for this race. Let's back it up.
Here's a hot take for you. There's two types of people in this world. Those who are wanting to do bigger and harder things, and then those who are actually figuring it out. We have spent a lot of time in that first group. We can all relate to that idea of wanting to do bigger and harder things, but sometimes there's just a major disconnect between the wanting and the doing. Later we'll talk about our experience with that feeling and how it factored into this race, but first, let's get to the training. Hey, we're back at it. We're doing a 10K this time. So we're training again, but we're just training the same way that we did in the first one and just pushing it further. So a couple of months ago, we made a video about how we improved our 5K time with only 2 weeks of training, and that video was such a W, we knew we had to run it back.
The training for both races was a mix of techniques that we got from YouTube's best runners, and for the 10K, we just increased that intensity.
Oh, and let's just say the increase was intense. It sucks. I can see why it's so critically important though.
We learned that we needed to improve the distance that we could run before lactic acid starts burning, and it's also important to acclimate your legs for those longer runs.
One thing is for sure, just never get easier.
We broke up speed and distance training into different workouts, and that worked really well for us.
So YouTube had served us up a medium-high spice training regimen that we just repeated for both weeks, and we also included a 4.5 mile run right in the middle to serve as a benchmark so we could see where we were at. So we'll also include a link to the 5K video that I mentioned. So let's take a look at how we trained and the schedule we followed.
To start, distance training was crucial to introducing us to what a proper long run actually feels like. Our usual runs are no more than 30 to 40 minutes a couple times a week, so we introduced sessions going all the way up to 50 minutes.
Wow.
We stuck to the treadmill for longer runs because we didn't want soreness and fatigue becoming an issue.
There's gonna be a lot of me doing this in this video, where I'm
like, wee.
Next, we needed to work on our fitness. Now, obviously, when you run, the muscles in your legs produce lactic acid. So the harder you run, the more you produce. And eventually that buildup will slow your pace and you'll have to stop. But we quickly noticed that this was an area where we needed improvement. And to address it, we did 2 workouts consisting of short bursts of hard effort. And this stuff was much harder than anything we're typically used to.
The first workout was speed intervals where we were running at a hard pace for a quarter mile, resting for 2 minutes, and then going right back in. We had been training 10 rounds for the 5K video, and we bumped it up to 15 rounds for this race. That was about as fun as it sounds.
Speaking of fun, We had another workout we were doing to address stamina, and I think that this is the dread of cardio athletes everywhere, especially runners, but it's also a really great way to build your endurance, and it's actually easier on your legs than just pounding the pavement. Comment down below if you can guess what I'm talking about.
We did this for the 5K and it paid off big time. The thing is, if you're running a 10K, you're gonna run into all different types of terrain. And this is why we included
All right. So let's go like one. All right. Hill repeats.
We did 10 rounds of running uphill for at least 1 minute and then a 2 to 3 minute jog back down as the only rest.
So we had a limited amount of time, we knew what we needed to work on, and we had the workouts in place. But all of that is useless without a good plan.
We work best with clear expectations, and we really needed to optimize our time, so we crafted a very tight schedule.
Take a look at this jam-packed schedule and comment down below if you can tell me what's missing. This was an absolutely glaring oversight, and I don't know how I missed it. That might sound dramatic to you, but honestly, it could have derailed the whole experience.
The strategy here was to hit both types of training twice a week and to space out our hard effort runs and gradually increase our longer runs.
I included cross-training days to give us a break from running, but also make sure we got some kind of movement every day. And that also freed up some time for biking, which is a passion of ours. So I scheduled a 4.5 mile run right in the middle of training a week before the race, so we could gauge how prepared we were and see what kind of pace we could hit. I'll go over that in some detail later.
So we had our workouts, we had our schedule. Now all that was left was to get down to business.
Yeah. I feel like it's so easy for me to do. I'm really curious how you think it went because I did not expect the twists and turns, and I am really glad we had a schedule to work in.
Obviously, when you're setting out on the journey, you're excited, you got the dopamine hitting, you got the goal in mind, and everything else is just details.
I tried to set up the training to be rigorous without destroying our legs so it would actually prepare us.
Honestly, it started out great. We were both riding the high of a new video, new training, new race, and it was all very exciting.
We're back at it, long easy run, 40 minutes. For some reason, I predicted would be disgusting. This should be disgusting. So we blazed out of the gates and built a ton of confidence early on. I love that feeling. You create a plan, you start to execute on it, you feel unstoppable. All right, that went better than expected. Here's Ashley. There's Planet Fitness. Went better than expected. Who'd have thunk it? You run consistently and it starts getting easier. This is a crazy world we live in.
Next up was hills.
No. Just do it right in line.
Hills.
Hill runs. You know we had to do it to them. You run to the top for a minute and just jog back down to where you started. Trying to do 10, but it's hot today and God bless and good luck. Hills are rough, but there's something about this workout that keeps me from completely despising it. It's so hard. I like it better than the flat ground. And it might be the endorphins, it might be the short amount of time you're actually running, or it might be those sweet shades that I was wearing. We had 10 repeats for that workout and it was extra hot that day, so I had to pop the tarp off. Just got done with number 6. Sorry to all you prudes out there. We've gone shirtless. 2. I'm dying. So we just got done 10 uphill for a minute. It's amazing how practicing something makes it better. The next day was Monday, so that meant back to work, but it was also a cross-training day, and we decided on some mountain biking. We decided to do some cross-training. So we were really glad to be biking instead of running, and it was a good opportunity for me to soft launch a little bit of mountain bike content into the channel here.
Hint, hint.
Do a trick. We'll definitely have to be checking ourselves for ticks later.
So let's talk about cross-training. It's important to have rest days, but that doesn't mean no physical activity at all. You're still contributing to the goal, but you're not wearing yourself out every single day like running would.
The next day we were back to running, and it was time for more speed intervals, which I think I already mentioned I don't love. I can tell that I wasn't very excited about this workout. Oh, this is a great time to film because it's so loud. I was just gonna do a Ryan Trahan, hey yo, interval check. That's what we're doing, is intervals. Again. All right, I can't seem to get this right. We're here at the dojo, aka Planet Fitness. We're doing intervals. 15 this time since we're inside. So what I like about the treadmill is that it eliminates so many of the variables and it keeps track of speed, distance, and incline, and that allows me just to focus on my form. And what I like about that is, aside from improving my form, it gives my mind something to stay focused on so I don't get bored as easily.
Next day, we were right back at Planet Fitness for our longer run, which was around 40 minutes.
So one thing I've always liked about running is the time for reflection that it provides. So during this run, I had a realization that was very uplifting for me. Committing myself to this whole YouTube journey and a lot of these running projects, it's a major departure from how I've lived a lot of my life. It helps me feel like I'm taking an active role in getting the most out of my life, and I find that very satisfying. So my realization that day was that there's a younger version of me that could not have done what we were doing and wouldn't even have wanted to. And I'm really, really happy to have turned that corner. However, there was a little bit of trouble in paradise because when I went back and looked at the notes that I took that day, I had written, this is a grind turning into a slog. I like these long runs because otherwise I feel like when we go to actually run a longer distance than 5K, I like the long runs because I feel like otherwise I would just be hating it. So I'm really glad to be getting used to running for a long time. Also, it's disgusting, as you can tell by the sky.
So the next workout was
hills.
By this point in the training, we were starting to feel it. There was another issue that we hadn't factored in. This was a sneaky obstacle and there's really no way to overcome it. But not respecting this issue could have derailed the whole project.
Remember before when I mentioned there was a glaring issue with the schedule? Well, those chickens came home to roost the next day when we were supposed to do hills. Did you guess the problem? You did?
Oh, you are such a little smarty.
I like it, it's cute. That's right, no rest days, none. Consider this a lesson learned because I will not be making that mistake again. So by this point in the journey, according to my notes, our legs were cooked. We needed a rest and we were getting mentally drained too.
The weather was garbage that day and we didn't even want to try hill repeats on a treadmill, so we pushed that workout to the next day.
I made an executive decision. Tomorrow is going to be a rest day and we're going to double up. Now we're going to do rest day tomorrow, which will likely just be cross-train, and then 2 workouts on Friday.
We already had a 45-minute easy pace run, so that meant Friday had 2 runs.
We're gonna double up on Friday. Today's Wednesday, long run. Tomorrow was gonna be hills.
We thought, no big deal. We had done something similar for running the faster 5K video, and that worked out well.
See if you can guess whether or not this caused another problem. Now we're on to Friday. We're 8 days out from the race and we're rolling into a 4-day weekend because of Memorial Day. And we were both feeling really strong and confident because of that rest day.
We headed to one of our favorite parks in the morning and we got straight to work. Our legs felt good, the weather was great, and we were having just as good of a time as you can have running up hills for 10 rounds.
So fun. In fact, I had made a note before we started running that the thing that I was dreading most was how much I knew I was gonna sweat because I guess I'm a famously profuse sweater.
I'm a high performance athlete. Athletes sweat. Sweat, baby.
If you watched our video about running a faster 5K, you'll recognize this place and what we're here for, which is
Hills.
And then on the screen, there's gonna be a thing where it's like hills. So we're doing 10 again. This area is a little more picturesque. So we're doing 10 more and then running some errands, and then we're doing our easy pace. So during this workout, I had another thought about the nature of our training. We got to round 6 of 10, and I thought to myself, oh, we could just be done. Because when we were doing our 5K video, we were only doing 6 rounds. But then I had this other thought, that if we were to keep the discomfort as high as possible now during the training, that it would lessen the discomfort later at the race. All right, last one here, number 10. All right, we're gonna crank it out. We'll see if that's true, but it got me through that workout, plus one extra round because we couldn't remember if we'd done 9 or 10. There's a little controversy here. I thought that was number 10. Ashley says it wasn't. She said it was number 9. What do you have to say for yourself?
I may have lost count.
I'm kidding, it's fine. We'll just do another one. But boy, isn't that plot thick. I really don't want to do this 11th one. But the plot is so thick. So we finished up, we ran some errands, we re-upped on the caffeine, but there was something that I neglected at this point that would really come back to bite me.
After the errands, it was time for the monster 45-minute easy pace run. We went to Planet Fitness to use the treadmill since we had just been outside, and I thought that everything had been looking and feeling good.
But let me read you this note that I made during that run that said, this programming is ambitious to say the least. So that's a clue that maybe things weren't going as well as I kept telling myself they were. We're here at the dojo. I'm whispering. There's a lot of people here at the dojo. We've got 45 minutes until we're done with this for the day. And then start it back up tomorrow. So this was a tough run for me, and at one point I even started to get a little emotional about the journey we were on. I'm in a stage in my life where I'm definitely pushing myself more than what I'm used to, and that made me reflect on everything we were putting into achieving this goal. So this whole thing is kind of a new experience for the both of us, and the thing that made me feel a little emotional was just that it feels really good to push through a rough patch for something that really matters. Struggling, worse than I thought I'd be. Should have eaten more. So anyways, I'm a big idiot, and I didn't eat or drink anything before this run.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot. Freaking idiot.
And I had to stop and rest when I started feeling weak and shaky, and that was actually a big learning moment for me. When you're training like this, you gotta fuel, your body will keep score.
And don't have brown sugar shaken espressos before either. We did get both workouts done on a positive note, and for the rest of the day we were filming for our bike video, which is great and you should watch. This brings us to Saturday, which is supposed to be our 4.5-mile run. This run was extra important to us because it would reveal if we were on track or not. Oh, you heard me when I said it was supposed to be our long run? Yeah, pushing the hill run to the same day as our long run did cause an issue.
What?
Shocking. So we decided to make a swap again, and we did the Sunday's cross training day on Saturday, and then we did the 4.5-mile run on Sunday.
We opted for some intense cross training. In all seriousness, you'd really just call this a rest day, but we did make sure to get out and do some walking and catch up on life. Do that face again. Just a couple little clippies. Do you wanna? That's what it sounds like. Oh, that's a close one. Saturday was chill, and so Sunday it was time to get back to work. I was really eager to get the 4.5-mile run done.
So we headed to a local walking trail, and we brought our GoPro to record the experience.
All right, here we are back at it. You know we had to do it to them. I don't know what that means. All right, today is Sunday the, what is it, the 25th?
Yeah.
Next Saturday is the 10K. We are out here on a bit of a fact-finding mission. We're doing 4.5 miles at just like a 10-minute pace just to see how we do with a little bit longer distance. So in my mind, this run was a big milestone because it revealed a lot about the work we've done, and it was a good opportunity for us to test out our pacing.
We haven't talked much about our goals for this race outside of finishing it, but we did have a target pace, we just didn't know how close we were to it.
Okay, so like we were saying, 4.5 miles, 10 mile a minute pace, nothing crazy. We're just hoping to get the 10K done, pardon me, in like 58 minutes. We're gonna do a little quick warm-up jog, and then we're using my watch to try to pace us, so follow along. All right, I'm doing real easy. It's funny because this seems like not a big deal, but for us, it felt like there was a lot of weight on this run. Because if it went poorly, that means that there was a problem with our training. The thing is, we were already a week into it, and the idea that we might have wasted the last week with bad training really weighed on us.
Tell me where you're going to.
We still had a week to go, and we did not just want to keep jamming crappy training if it was not getting us any closer to our goal.
But here's the issue. We didn't have a backup plan, and we put all of our eggs into just one basket. And we thought, hey, it worked for the 5K.
So we set our goal for a little slower than what we wanted for the actual race and used my watch to pace it. And I want to take a minute to talk about using the watch for pacing because it was an absolute game changer.
We could go out with a band. Say what you will about love, but losing a girlfriend is never easy, I know. Just let it go. Losing a girlfriend might be the worst one yet, so I forget. Losing your best friend, oh God, I miss her so. Just let it go. Yeah, losing your best friend tears you apart, I know. So let it go. Just let it go.
One of the things that this whole experience has taught us is the importance of eliminating variables. The more you account for, the better, and using all of your resources to do that is really important.
Could have killed us.
I'd mentioned a couple of oversights like not fueling and not resting, and those had a steep cost that could have ruined the whole thing.
Just going and running and hoping for the best without a way to measure success is not the move. I won't keep you in suspense anymore. The run went great. We were well ahead of the pace for the whole run, and our legs felt really good. We took advantage of the 10-minute pace we set and could slow down because we knew we were already ahead. We finished 4.5 miles in 43 minutes and we felt really good. We knew that we could run longer and faster if we needed to. This set us up with a ton of confidence for the rest of training and the race itself.
I want to emphasize how much of a relief this was for us because it confirmed that our plan was working. When you're doing something like this, you don't always know that you're on the right path until you actually get a little confirmation that you are. So now that we had that, it was very reassuring. You need to use every resource available to you to set yourself up for success, and measuring progress like that is the best way to do it.
That was tough. You want to hold it?
Yeah.
Recording. Goal complete. We'll give you the overview some kind of way. It's looking like 4.5. Took us 43 minutes and 11 seconds, so we're ahead of the game, ahead of the pace. Thank God.
So just like that, we had a week of training done. We had a great benchmark to show us that we were progressing. And I think that we had built a lot of positive momentum going into race week. And you would think that we would have just rode that into the big day. But things are just never that easy, are they?
At the beginning of the video, we hit you with the hot take that there are two types of people in this world. People who want and people who figure out how to get. This week would turn out to be a test of how much effort we were willing to put into figuring out how to accomplish our goals. Let me explain. If you start working out, you're going to be healthier and feel better, but that doesn't automatically improve any other area of your life. For example, if you were broke before you got fit, you'll still be broke after unless you start paying attention to your finances.
The truth is, you still have to give all of the other areas of your life the same amount of attention or else they're going to start to suffer. So maybe that's why people get stuck in the first group. They've got a goal in mind and they want it badly. They just can't figure out the path that satisfies all of their responsibilities. Life doesn't seem to care when we want to improve, and it does not always reward us when we try to. Week 1 ended on a high note. We were really stoked with how the training was going and our 4.5 mile performance, but week 1 ended and Week 2 started and brought along its own baggage. Back at the dojo for intervals.
Monday was Memorial Day and we had interval training. To give our legs a break, we went on the treadmill and we only did 10 rounds of training instead of 15.
That's right, Mr. Burns.
We got one more. I think I did 10, but I want to be sure, so I might be doing 11, but I'll live. That's chilly. How was your experience in the dojo?
It was good.
All right. We're all through at the dojo. Now we're gonna go ride bikes, I think. It's not even a cross-train day. This is crazy.
Tuesday, we had the longest run that we would do before the race, a 50-minute easy-paced run on the treadmill. These longer-paced runs were critical for the success of the race.
So I want to take a second and talk about the workout that day, because 50 minutes is a long time to run. It's just you and your thoughts, and buddy, I was doing some thinking that day. So anxiety about balancing everything had started to creep in. This week in particular, we had 5 training sessions. We were both working 40 hours, and we were working on our most recent video about cycling. So when you add all of that up, it becomes a lot to try to fit into one day, especially when you're trying to get 8 hours of sleep for recovery. During that long run, I had to do a gut check. I could see the ways the crammed schedule was affecting my mood and even my energy. And honestly, I had reached a low point in the training. When you reach that point, it is critical to remember your why, but I'll get back to that a little later. So even though I was having a tough time that day, I actually felt really grateful for the obligation of training because it kept me moving on a week where I typically would have just slowed down. So during that run, I was watching the movie Rocky II, and I found it hilarious that just when I needed some inspiration, the most inspirational sports character of all time just happened to be on the TV. It was like fate. But I wasn't inspired in the way you might think. We all love when he's training. He's getting stronger, he's getting faster, he's getting better. You know, he's pumping the fists at the top of the stair set. But I got inspired by what happened just before the training. The movie's main theme is that you just can't keep Rocky down. He will do whatever it takes to achieve the goal. And in this case, the goal was settling into retired life after his career was over. He's trying everything he can to earn a living for him and his wife, but it just doesn't seem to be working. He even winds up taking a job at the gym where he used to train, but had lost the respect of the fighters there. He was at a low point. But you know what he didn't do? He didn't allow his stress and his pain and even his embarrassment to become problems for the people that he cared about. He had goals and responsibilities, and he would have done whatever it takes to meet those demands. We all need a wake-up call from time to time, and this was mine. It might be a goofy sports movie, and not even the best Rocky movie, but I'm so glad that it was on because it helped reshape my attitude for the whole rest of the training.
The rest of the training was more of the same. We rested the next day instead of cross-train, and this gave us a chance to play catch-up.
And we needed that.
We did hills the next day, and it was exhausting.
What is today? What did I just say was? Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday the 29th? His hair is not the move. I'm drawing a blank. We're checking in because
Because it's 2 days before the race.
I feel like I need to like put this in the video because it's been this kind of week, and I feel like it's been this kind of schedule gearing up for this 10K. Also, we're walking up a hill now to warm up for our second to last workout, which is hill runs. Tomorrow is an easy run, and I scheduled it just 30 minutes, so it is going to be easy, which is nice.
It had occurred to me that we might be overtraining, but the fatigue was not all physical.
I think where we bit off more than we could chew is just the scheduling, I guess. But obviously we're doing that for a reason, right? We're like obviously the video is can we train for 10K with only 2 weeks? So
Yeah.
That would be
That is the experiment.
our hypothesis, was that we could, and then we didn't think about whether or not we would actually want to. If you're not running, this is what you're missing. Come on. Yeah, we're gonna crank this out, and then tomorrow we've got our easy run. Saturday is the 10K itself. I signed us up today, so we're locked in. It's happening one way or the other. I got myself a t-shirt. We got Ashley a t-shirt coming. This is why we do this. The t-shirts and the medals.
Like my dad.
Yes, my dad, that is why my dad does it. God love him, and I appreciate it. 2 more.
This brings us to the very last training session on Friday, which was the last day before the big race.
The big race.
It was another easy pace run, this time only 30 minutes. And thankfully, we were feeling physically good. And after the low spot earlier in the week, we were even excited about the big race day.
I was filming the Planet Fitness sign, and some guy looked at me, and it's because it's the last trip at the dojo before the big race. So I'll just recap my notes from that day. We were both really looking forward to a less busy schedule and reincorporating some of the other stuff that we love to do. We were really loving the style of training and felt like it was really paying off. In fact, I noted that we had both grown as runners by quite a lot.
I agree.
Oh, just kidding, just kidding. Before, our workouts had been kind of aimless, with no real goal in mind, and at some points even ego-driven.
We found ourselves achieving more while feeling better. These videos have taught us how to train smarter.
That's it. That's all the training. Last thing to do is to do it.
This brings me to the last point I want to make before we go into our big day. It's easy to be fired up for a goal while it's still novel and fresh, but you can't rely on that initial excitement to carry you through. The obstacles, discomfort, and reality will set in. If you don't have a compelling reason to carry on, it becomes insanely hard to do. I really hope this video can serve as a reminder for people when they get to this point. And that is to remember your why and to hold on to that for dear life.
I've said this before, but we know what it's like to struggle with motivation and apathy. Looking back, I think that that's our best answer for why, to willingly expose ourselves to something new and difficult and share that with others for inspiration.
Lastly, our pace. How do you even know what to shoot for? So I essentially just doubled my 5K time to 56 minutes, and that was my goal.
Hot diggity damn! That's good enough for me!
At any rate, we would be happy to keep it under 1 hour.
So, we only gave ourselves 2 weeks to train for this 10K because we wanted to prove the point that regular people can achieve goals outside of their comfort zone, and all they need is a well thought out plan, a good schedule, and a good reason why.
Now, let's see if we were right.
Real nice looking. I saw this on Instagram, so take it with a grain of salt. I'm gonna listen to the same song for the entirety of the 10K, or for as long as I can stand it. But real quick, I want to go over something that was absolutely crucial for this video and that we have found to be more and more important for any projects or ideas that we're interested in. So this project was ambitious for us, and I'm betting it might be for a lot of you too. And even if 10K is nothing for you, what I'm talking about is still key for anybody trying to do anything outside of their comfort zone.
Without this, you are really hindering the likelihood of success, and it's always easier and clearer if you will include this step. You don't even have to get this perfectly right, you just have to make sure that you do it.
Do it.
Not doing this would have been a critical mistake because we would have had no idea where we stood in relation to our goal. I'm talking about making an intentional, logical, realistic plan. And I don't care what you're trying to do, you need to sit down first and try to account for everything that you could think of before you get started. Having a plan is literally always better than winging it.
So even though your plan will never be perfect, still do it. When things get tough, and they likely will, you need that structure to fall back on.
I'm so glad I got to watch the paces because I would really want to take off, and that's a bad idea. Sorry, pardon me. We're close on the pace. No need to panic. I think the 5K guys are already on their way back.
I'm at a rare tip. Tell them all just stand down to the cup goal and the stands clear. I've been out running, top gunning competition, they know who the man here. I could never fail, I could never fall, counted up without a cashier. And last year was real 25, I'm a fast on their heels. Built the last, never last up the gear. Hit the gas, I'm a mash till a meal. I can't be lacking till it's sealed, cause they too extravagant to chill. I ain't missing.
Man, we've been behind the pace since we started.
Top 10 on the throne, this how you elevate it without selling out. I kept it true to me, ain't never chasing clock. Now they like, who is he? Who am I? Never tired of running through a knot. Breaking pressure if you knew or not, cause I could never settle for another spot.
Well,
up the level, I'ma make it hot, but I never sweat them. Know they wanna see a king down to his knees, please, I never let him. This is destiny and I rise every time. All of the odds I defy. They say the eyes never lie. Well, look in the mind, see the prize.
Oh, it's a little downhill, thank God.
Ball hard, no lesser. This dry mind, no Tesla. This whip glide like Dressler.
So,
I bring
since we're at the halfway point,
I bring pressure.
oh, that's unfortunate. Somebody waiting in traffic there.
I bring pressure.
But we're at the halfway point,
I bring pressure.
or close. So now I can just tell myself that all we have left is an out and back, and that'll make my brain
who you know that did it
less
this
furious.
big. I ain't show it like the rich did. Eating bread like the rich kids. Sending headshots and getting gigs. I've been on the run for some months. You know I ain't stopping, they can see it. Vicious
Those
with
are the
the
10K
pen in their
riders.
head. Could probably kill them all off the
On their way
lid.
back,
This how
so.
the pastor act. You get no pass for that.
Can't be too
Records
much
my name
better,
in
right?
the books. You chasing the goal, probably give you a panic attack. Don't need no hand, I don't handling that. Look like they brought Mr. Innocent back. Yeah, I'm the one sent him scrambling back.
I've definitely figured out the logic with the one song the whole race. You get so sick of it, you run as fast as you can just to not to hear it anymore.
Smoke, I put pass in the air. Rock out a show, had their hands in the air with my folks in the cut. It's a family affair. I understand why
Just
they
give
doubted
myself
this
a
line of profession.
brief
Don't
mental
have too
walk
many
here.
succeed, but I'm gonna come back with a dime and you bring that pressure to me.
This hill is obscene, evil, disastrous. Another turn off here. That I'm not cool with. .2 more to go. This is harder than I thought it would be. That's the last turn around. We're on the last mile. I'm gonna try to lock in, save battery, and just get her done until we get to the stadium. God, that's so far away still. Home stretch, home stretch. There it is. There it is. In advance, Ashley, I'm sorry I didn't wait. I'm sorry. I got running with a guy. He had me on a real good pace. Now I feel like dying. Bring it in. First thing you need after a run is a nice sweaty hug. Thank you for running with me. I got a little emotional when I saw that finish line because I got real tired of running. There was some controversy. Turbo's mad. She's a little disappointed in herself. But also, I think that was like the fastest race we've ever done in general, like the fastest pace ever. Look, we're in the stadium. Yay, we're in the stadium. Thank you. Thank you.
The top finisher in your age category, stop by the table, visit with Owen and Jan from the Rich Community. When we're done with the winners.
Now, if you think that was interesting, you need to go back and watch the 5K video where we got this training tip from.